Hey guys, thanks for tuning in for another episode of the Detour Live. Nice and fresh here in Melbourne, 6:30 a.m. start, and it's about 10:30 p.m. over in Italy, Johnny. And you've missed dinner, mate. You're coming in this.
I have. Well, exactly. The bus. They had a 2-hour drive after the stage, so it got in very late, and we're just out of Naples, so the traffic is ridiculous. And yeah, so our dinner was just starting just after 10, and I had to do a little chat with Jean, and so I got a quick roll of the entree, and I'm just hopefully if we keep it to half an hour, I can go back and get some more red wine and food.
Well, we're going to have to because it looks like your Wi-Fi is probably going to conk out as well. Don't adjust your sets, folks. That's just if you scratch your Wi-Fi at this stage. He has gone off his phone. We're also joined by Team BikeExchange Jayco rider who's pinch hitting again, Sam Bewley. Bills, I'll ask you, did you see much of the Giro stage today? Fingers crossed you did. Great day for the breakaway.
I did. I saw the last 70K. Perfect. And actually, I said to Hannah, my girlfriend, when I was watching the stage, I said, last night on the detour, when Jonesy asked me who my favourites was, the first thing that came to mind was I was going to say, it'd be interesting to see if the jumbo guys go, and up the road. And I was going to say Dumoulin. And I was like, nah, sounds a bit stupid. Should have said it.
Yeah, it was a good ride by Big Tommy. What was your take, Iffy? Last day in the hole?
It was. Well, yeah, we saw quite a bit of it. We took off and got halfway to our hotel and then got a message that we had to go and swap cars with Vittorio because he needed to get back in the race and his car didn't have stickers. So we did all of that, watched all of it, but I saw quite a bit of the race, which was good. And 4,500 metres of climbing, I mean, that's a mountain day. It's just there was no mountain right near the end, so the GC guys didn't really fire it up. But it was a tough day in the office.
All right, well, here's Simon Yates and Matt White after the finish, courtesy of Green Edge Cycling Twitter page.
One of those days, just a bit of a slog, I think is the word I would describe that day as. No real GC action, so we'll look to the next day, but I'm sure there'll be some tired legs out there tomorrow.
Yeah, as expected, a very, very aggressive start. Probably we expected maybe a little bit more aggressive from the opening kilometres, but through the mountains, the race really did explode until we got a break that finally formed, and after that, I was maybe expecting a little bit more control from some other teams, but anyway, the break was too strong, and so to hang on to win the stage. We have a circuit race in Napoli tomorrow. It is not easy, not necessarily for the sprinters. I don't think it will be. I think it's a perfect day for the breakaway tomorrow.
Perfect day for the breakaway tomorrow, says Matt White. We're going to preview stage number 8 in the second half of the show. And you also caught up with Gene Bates, Iffy. You're back doing interviews, which is great. We've got content coming up the stick. This is your interview with Gene Bates tonight, just before dinner.
Okay, well, it could be a bit rusty. It's his first day back in action after 2 days in isolation, but we've got the okay, Vazzy behind the camera and myself, so pretty excited. But it was a pretty hard day today. We had a stage with 4,500 metres of climbing, so that's hard in anyone's language. And with me, I've got Gene Bates, Sports Director with BikeExchange Jayco. Tough day in the office, mate.
It was a very hard day, and we knew it was going to be hard. We earmarked this stage when the race was presented earlier in the year. We came down, did some work, looked at the course in detail, and we knew it was going to be a very difficult day for everyone. It's one of those stages, as you said, nearly 5,000 metres of climbing involved. Without a mountaintop finish is particularly dangerous because you're not sure exactly how it's going to unfold. There's always an array of strategies and tactics going on in the bunch, particularly early in the race when the GC hasn't sorted itself out. So it had the potential to really go to the shit, for lack of a better word.
So interesting. I noticed in the bits that I did see that you guys took a bit of responsibility at times and put the guys on the front. So what was that all about?
Yeah, look, we knew a break was going to go. Yesterday we saw the complete opposite, probably the easiest stage most people have ever seen in the Giro d'Italia. So we knew there was a lot of fresh guys coming in, and that first hour was going to be critical. So we had to have a presence. We didn't want to miss out on a big move. And we had certain teams that we earmarked it. We really didn't want to be in the move without them.
So the team looked really strong. How the boys all after that race?
Yeah, good. I'd be lying if I said it was easy, but they did. They looked like a great unit together. We had good numbers there in the final, and that was the main thing, is to get Simon across the line safely and not lose any time with some big mountain days coming up.
Of course, Simon's the big one. Of course, I believe he will win this Giro. But how is he going with his knee? He seems to have been getting better every day.
Yeah, he is getting good. He's getting better. As I said, it's always going to be a really hard day today, regardless of form or how things are running. And everyone's got their little issues. It's a Grand Tour, after all. So nobody's perfect, but he's going well. And we're confident he's on the up and up.
Gene, thank you very much, mate, and look forward to a little bit easier day, although a solid day tomorrow.
Yeah, look, it could be anything again. It's a circuit race around Napoli, and for anyone that's been to Napoli, they know it's an absolute mess of a city, let alone trying to put a bike race in it.
Great for a pizza, though. So anyway, talk to you tomorrow.
That's DS Gene Bates after the finish there. Now, Bills, when you hear as a rider a circuit race in Napoli, what's the first thing that's popping into your head?
Fuck.
Oh, shit. A lot of kids are in bed at the moment, so we appreciate it.
You can't ask the question if you don't like the answer.
but it sent chills.
This is not the social distance podcast. You know, this is the real stuff here.
But the reason I paused was I was trying to think of an alternative word and I couldn't.
But why is that? Why is there instant panic?
Exactly like Gino said, the south of Italy, notoriously bad roads, slippery roads, bumpy roads, potholes, and then Napoli is it's quite a hectic city. Obviously going to be closed roads and everything, but it's just a city that has lots of traffic, lots of people. The roads aren't looked after that well. And just like any European city, really, if you go and race in the heart of a big European city, it's twisty, it's turny, it's up and down, it's cobbles. There's lots of traffic furniture, traffic islands, all these sorts of things. So it just makes for a really technical, really nervous race. Obviously, all the GC guys are going to want to be in the front of the bunch all day to stay safe, and then you've got the stage contenders wanting to do the same thing as well. The sprinters who may be thinking it could be a sprint. Breakaway guys, it'll be potentially one of the most dangerous stages of the race. So I'm sure a lot of nerves in all the teams for tomorrow, but let's hope everyone gets through safely.
I remember covering the Giro in 2009, and there was a lot of issues around, safety, traffic management. There was the protest stage because riders had enough, because doing the circuit races, I think in Milan, there was parked cars on the side of the road. I remember Jens Voigt coming off the bike one day and just went on this rant saying that one day we're literally going to get in the bus, go to the finish line and say, see what happens, because there wasn't lights in the tunnels and all these sort of little things. It's obviously improved a lot, because the last couple of years it has been a real focus on rider safety. You can't obviously plan for when riders lead a bunch through traffic furniture like what happened in Turkey. Those things just happen. That's rider fault. But that's a jab there for Bills. We've covered that. But it has improved, though, Johnny, you would say. But there's still always drama at the Giro. There's going to be one day.
I've raced around Naples area back in the late 70s, and one of the worst organised bike races of all time. But
why? What happened?
The Giro, and there were cars coming off from everywhere, and it was just, the roads weren't closed properly, cars parked everywhere. But that's happened in recent times in Milan. They finished with circuits in Milan, and it's just chaotic, ridiculous. But that aside, they were most worried that it would be if it was wet tomorrow, because there's a lot of newly laid roads. But if it got wet, it would have been just like an ice rink. But it's no rain predicted, so hopefully we'll get out of it. But it's an interesting stage. There's lots of little lumps, and everyone's saying it's probably not going to be a sprinter stage. The sprinters have only got 2 or 3 days. Stages to go. For the ones, most will leave after stage 11 because that'll be the end of it. It's 2 days to go. I reckon Caleb would be looking at this saying, this is an opportunity for me. So teams like Lotto, I suppose for Quickstep, it's a bit hard because he's lost his main lead-out man now, Morkov. I'm not sure what it was. Could be COVID related, I believe, but there's a few of them popping up. So I think we could have a bit of an issue with that over the next few days. But no, I think it's an interesting stage. Lots of little lumps, and those little lumps are kind of short and steep. But Caleb gets over those. So I think I reckon it's a Caleb day.
I reckon. What do you reckon of Magnus Court, Bills?
Good stage for Maggie.
Run for him.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a good stage for Maggie.
Perfect.
I mean, you can't go past. I don't want to be like a broken record, but Van der Poel. It's a perfect stage for Van der Poel. And then obviously we look at the profile there, but if you look at a map of the stage, it'll probably give you a better idea how hard they can make that stage, because it all depends on with those upper, whether it's a 1K climb or a 500 meter climb straight down, then up another one. It all depends on what the road's like. If it's a twisty road with hairpins on every descent and you're coming off that descent in a single line at warp speed and going straight to another climb and then doing the same again, then it makes it really, really difficult for the sprinters to get over, because once they get pinned on a climb, even though they can get over the climb with the bunch. If they're too far back, the bunch lines out on those twisty descents. You hit the next climb at 60k an hour. By the time the front guys have got to the top of the climb, they're only just hitting the bottom of it, and then eventually it just breaks. That's what makes these stages difficult. It's not necessarily the climbs itself. It's the roads. It's just with the twisty or the descent's tricky. The run into all those climbs, the constant one after each other. That's what makes these stages tricky. And I imagine in the city of Napoli, that's exactly how it's going to be.
Mm. All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to.
So evidently, it's one big loop. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I'll just say it's one big loop and then 4 small, and 4 small loops. Bill was just saying he wasn't sure on the parkour. I was just saying what it was. One big loop and 4 small loops.
Yeah, I might sound underprepared, but blame it on your director.
Yeah.
Bills. Everyone's underprepared on this show, so it's not an issue, mate. And you're doing a great job. We're not knocking anything you do, mate, or you won't come back.
No, there's a lot of love in the room.
You can't keep me away.
Let's take a quick break. We'll be back with plenty more, and we're going to fire up the Detour DeLorean because Bewley's going to have some very funny insights to the 2016 Giro. Stay tuned for that.
Look at this bike. You think it's just a bike, right? But it's not. It's a bike 374 people are looking at. This guy, this girl, them, all looking at it. People from here, there, and wherever this is. People that are looking for a bike. Or just a piece of it. Amateurs, semi-amateurs, and pro-amateurs. This guy wants this bike, but with this crank and these bars. This could be the perfect match. But not this one. This girl has a bike to sell, and thousands of people might purchase it. Eyes on Bikes help grow small businesses. His, hers, yours, and the latest data and insights help those businesses keep moving. We are the world's #1 bike marketplace, with over 500,000 products and 900 brands, where buyers and sellers are brought together in a place where a bike is never just a bike. BikeExchange, where the world buys, sells, learns, and rides.
Feel more in every moment. The all-new Lexus NX.
Fun fact, you can make cycling part of your next Let's Go adventure. With a bike, you can enjoy and explore even more places. So feel the wind in your hair, book a bike, enjoy the outdoors and see more with a Let's Go motorhome today.
Johnny, some great sponsors there, mate. Let you do the spill. You've ripped me all the time.
There are certainly some great. Well, you do it very well when you bother to do it. It's when you forget that's the problem. But no, we do have some wonderful sponsors. Like, first of all, we probably don't give quite enough. Well, we'll go to Lexus at Blackburn. Yes, they're sensational. Been sponsor of the Bay Crits for the last 3 years. So Andrew and Sarah Moore, wonderful people. So if you're interested in a luxury car, well, then go to the people who support us. And they're not just luxury cars, actually. Lexuses start off at a reasonable price. And that lead car, I've driven that. Oh, amazing stuff. And they've also been sponsor of the Women's Herald Sun Tour, Melbourne Warrnambool. So they're great supporters of cycling. So make sure we look after them. But, of course, BikeExchange, they're the naming rights partner to the team. I'm following around here at the moment, and to the people who give you a paycheck every week or second week. I don't know when it comes, bills, but they're a great company, Australian company around the world. And if you want a bike, jump onto BikeExchange, and of course, Let's Go Motorhomes. Well, where else would you go? That do?
That's right. Perfect, John.
Good job.
You get 100% support from you, mate. Don't forget where your paycheck comes from, Sam. That was the message. All right, we're going to fire up Iffy's favourite segment, Detour.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Now, I couldn't help but notice with the little video that Sammy's doing on the ground for Green Edge that it looks like they still can't use the race vision. That was one of the biggest issues. I remember rolling up to the Giro in 2016, and we used to just pinch, highlights or whatever. And we were told the night before, you're not allowed to film in the buses, you're not allowed to use any race vision, you're not allowed to do anything at the hotels. All these restrictions where I said to Shane Barron, mate, I can't do my job. I can't do my job. What do you want me to? I might as well hand my press pass in. I'm done. He goes, you'll come up with something, Dan. So I sat there angry in the bus for a few days. I was talking to the riders. I was just venting. Remember, we were doing video content where it was
we were in Holland, weren't we?
Yeah, and it was just like, we're playing John Lennon songs. Give peace a chance, like high fives, just begging for us to use. Right, in the end, we cracked it. I remember saying to you, Bills, I got an idea. I'm going to recreate the stages with toys, and that's when we did this Planet OGE series. And this was really the birth of Bewley's start in the media. So here's the first video we did for Planet OGE.
Welcome to another stage of Giro d'Italia. Awesome crowds today.
Here we are at the sign-on, and it's Nibali, the shark. He looks hungry today.
His teammates actually look a bit nervous.
And here's Team Sky, fresh off the Death Star.
And here is one of the favorites of today's stage, Greipel the Gorilla.
And it's great to see Marcel Kittel embracing the Vallon protocol with the onboard footage today.
Righto, I've got Esteban Chavez here. How are you feeling about today's stage, mate?
Si, mi amo Esteban, tengo hambre.
Team's looking very strong today. Whoa! What was that? I'm out of here!
And here's the neutral start. In fact, I've started 10 minutes early. There's no sign of the gorilla or the shark. Oh, here he comes, the gorilla, dragging his feet behind.
So we have a 7-man break of the day, and looks like a Micap is just sitting there and waiting for the others.
And the halfway point of the race, the Tesco Tuna Chunks Tower. Have you had your chunks today?
So apparently the Micap didn't adopt to aero position, so was flicked with 20k to go. Whoa, huge crash. We see the bike footage there.
And slow motion shows it was a stray horse. How many times do we have to tell you guys, you bring a horse to a race, put it on a leash. It's like bringing a shark to a swimming pool, guys. Think about it.
And here's the Australian champ making his way back to the peloton. Poor Meerkat. He gone from the brake straight to the broom wagon.
And a heavy-footed sag wagon driver, Meerkat's gone straight to the asphalt around Asparagus Corner. Hell of a day.
They are lining out for the sprint, and Greipel hits out early.
And here comes Caleb Ewan. He's hit the finish line, and the Shark has been wiped out.
And the replay shows Greipel's winner by a short hair.
And Greipel celebrating with his teammates. Great to see the Meerkat there in support.
I hope you enjoyed the commentary. We'll see you in the mountains.
Oh, classic stuff. Yeah. I just remember when we're trying to come up with ideas, we're going tuna chunks tower. That's a bit that lost me when you're going, have you had your chunks today? But that kicked up a real stink with the Giro. I remember Cycling Weekly did a whole article saying, Green Edge had the last laugh with the rights issues. And then I think the next day, the Giro thought, you wouldn't play that game. They kicked 3 of our videos off YouTube. And they're all videos where we won. So the team time trial in Belfast, gone. Bling Wing in Pink, gone. And Weedon when his stage with all the rights were blocked. So it's like, yeah, you just sort of stay on side with those guys. But
your mate.
Funny.
It seems so simple, that Planet OGE, but I feel like it took us half the rest day to create that.
Oh, it did. It did. I remember even Whitey was in there like pulling like props for us. And I remember one of the other teams walked past and we had this whole floor just set up with toys and all like the team around filming toy stuff. And people were going, what are you doing? This is like a grand tour.
I still remember that rest day because to this day, of all the grand tours I've done, that hotel was the worst hotel I've ever stayed at in that grand tour.
It was like a
Delta Florence, it was called. We drove past it after Strada Bianchi this year, and it sent a shiver down my spine. That was a horrible rest day.
Yeah. Back to the race, Iffy. How are you feeling with the overall group at BikeExchange? Billy said earlier that you would be nervous going into this stage, and when you're riding for GC, I mean, every day you got to be on. What's the feeling you get from sort of the riders and staff going into this next sort of block?
Look, as I was racing out of the restaurant to get here to be in time for the detour, I just stopped at the table just for a second, go fellas, and they were just all laughing. Oh, good to see you back, because I've been gone for 2 days. But they were you could just tell they were in great spirits. They're switched on. They believe in themselves, so which is great.
That's obviously been something that the team tried to start at the beginning, Bills, to create that culture where, you can be serious, but you can also be relaxed. Is that one of the things that you still notice when you are at things like the dinner table? Because obviously for the viewers, you're often sharing hotels with other teams. Do you still notice that as sort of a key difference with the Green Edge sort of setup?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And you still get it. We had it actually in Tour Romandy last week. We were dining in a hotel restaurant. The hotel was quite full, but we had our own room. But it was still like relatively well connected to this restaurant in terms of that they could still hear us basically or see us through a glass window. And I don't know what we were talking about. Who knows? But we just lost it like we do most nights. Just, like it's sort of that time. We've created that culture where, we're really serious about the races. We have our pre-race meetings on the bus. They're taken very seriously. Things are discussed, ideas are thrown around. We go out, we race the best we can. Whether the race goes the way we wanted it to or the way it didn't, or goes the opposite way to that. We have open, honest debriefs on the bus, and everything's, what am I trying to say? It's like, the hard things can be said comfortably if you need to do that, and then you walk off the bus and it's done. The day's finished, and the professional part of it, and we go then to the dinner, and by then nobody wants to talk about the racing anymore, whether it was successful or not. We just want to talk, and mate, half the time we couldn't even repeat what we talk about, probably just garbage. But we do. We just have fun. We just laugh. And like in Romandy, half the restaurants trying to eat their sushi and they're just looking at these bike riders speaking English in this other room, like, what is going on in there? But it's a really important part of the culture. It's a really important part of the culture because everyone goes to bed feeling good then. Whether if it's been a crappy day, everyone gets back to the room and goes, that was, you start to feel like a bit of life again, and you wake up ready to go the next day.
Well, that's one thing we spoke with Brent yesterday because, it's the rider transfer market starting to heat up. There's a lot of articles being written about it. But how important is it when you do bring in new riders into the group that you don't just look at the results, you look at the personality and will they fit into the culture?
And it's
very important, yeah.
It's a good point. It's a difficult one to manage, because you don't go through like an interview process like you would do in some businesses, for example. Like you sign a rider, and I mean, I guess in the end, somebody in the management or somebody in the riders group knows that bike rider, has come across them either in other teams or just on the road in races, or so there's always somebody, I suppose, who can give a character reference to the guy. But you still don't sit down in a room necessarily with the guy and interview him and learn his character and make him do a personality assessment or I don't know, whatever. So you still take a little bit of a gamble. But we've done very well over the course of the 10 years that Greenwich has been around. And that's because, people do have our management's got their ear to the ground. They're not afraid to ask the riders and the team, like, hey, we're interested in this guy. What's he like in the bunch? Oh, mate, he's a great guy. Or, oh, no, this guy's, or whatever. Because it's really, really important. And I
swore again.
It's more difficult for that rider to come into the team. And if they don't fit the culture, it's not necessarily about fitting the mold straight away, but it's about being open to learning how our team operates and buying into what the team is about. And as long as they do that, like we've had 160, probably 60 different bike riders on this team over the years, and everybody's different. Everyone's different personalities. Everyone's a different character. But as long as that person buys into the team and buys into the culture and buys into what we're trying to achieve, you can be whoever you want to be, and with your personality, that doesn't matter because everybody knows, but he's all in for the team. So as long as you do that, you're fine. If you don't do that, then it's actually more difficult for that person for the term of their contract than what it is for the people around them.
Yeah.
And also, let's be honest, if you get a stiff drink of water in the team that just doesn't like the culture and is sort of negative, that can spread, that can spread pretty quick. So you're trying to protect the group so that you don't have that sort of one or two people. But anyway, now before we wrap things up, obviously I've been asking for photos about the cuisine because you're in Italy, Iffy, and Vazzy's there. He's having a Peroni, looks like a risotto, mushroom risotto. And then Iffy, what'd you go for?
That was lunch. Yeah.
Why'd you put the mask on like that just for the photo to look like you?
Just being a smart ass. Just being a smart ass for you, Dan.
Okay, well, it worked. Now, Naples, mate, home of the best pizzas on the planet. Can you give us a short little video tomorrow to review some of the pizzas, the local cuisine? Because surely you're just going to stick to what they're known for.
We will do that. Yes, they are renowned for their pizzas, and I will deliver.
Okay. Tips for,
or maybe I'll get them delivered. But whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Who's your tips for the stage, lads? Start with you, Bills.
Vanderpool.
Yep. Iffy.
Caleb.
All right. I'll go Magnus Court. We'll see how we go. All right. Well, now you go off and enjoy your dinner, Iffy. You've only had a bread roll and you were whinging about it for about 5 minutes before we start the show. As we always say, youtube.com/the Detour podcast. If you're on Apple, iTunes, leave a rating and review. Get behind the show. We really appreciate the support and support the companies that support cycling. Lexus at blackburn.com.au, Let's Go Motorhomes.com.au, and Bike Exchange for all things bike related. Before we go, John.
I just want to thank Bills again for coming in at the last minute as he does. He's just
a warrior.
Champion. Here's a warrior. A couple of big days coming up. Tomorrow will be interesting, but Sunday will be a ripper. It'll be the
stage 9.
Stage 9. Blockhouse. There it is. And that's the one that will really shape this bike race. There's been some great stuff so far, but this one is something special.
All right. Well, there's going to be plenty more to look forward to over the next couple of days. Thanks again, Bills. Thanks, Iffy. Tune in again tomorrow. We're going to be at 6:30 a.m. again, Australian Eastern Standard Time, till Monday. So we'll see you again. Thanks for the support. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.